All right, this is section 2.4a, multiplying and dividing decimals. And to multiply and divide decimals, we need to review how to multiply and divide integers. So these first few problems, you can remember from last chapter, negative 6 times 8. We're going to do 6 times 8 to get 48. And because one of the numbers was negative, it doesn't matter which one, we're going to make it negative 48. For the second one, negative 56 divided by negative 7 is positive 8 because two negatives makes a positive when you multiply and divide. 6 times negative 9 is negative 54. One number negative, so our answer is negative. Also have one negative number here, 72 divided by negative 8, so it's going to be negative 9. Now this next one, the negative is in parentheses, which means we're going to rewrite this as negative 4 times negative 4, and you can see the negative got repeated as well. Not only the 4, but the negative is there twice, and two negatives makes a positive 16. So you can tell it's going to be repeated because it's inside the parentheses. The exponent notices it. And then the last one here, 3 times 2 times 1 is 6, and because we have 3 negatives, and that means 2 of them will pair up, but 1 will not, our answer is negative 6. 3 is an odd number. So remember, to multiply and divide with negatives, we're just counting. We're just going to count the negatives. It's either going to be positive or negative, but we don't change multiplying to dividing, and we don't change dividing to multiplying. We just do the problem and count the negatives. When you count the negatives, if you see that you have no negatives, or 2 of them, or 4 of them, or any even number, your answer is going to be positive. And if you're counting the negatives and you see 1 of them, or like the last problem where we had 3 of them, or 5 of them, or any odd number, your answer is going to be negative because they won't all be able to pair up. All right, multiplying decimals. When you want to multiply decimal, you're going to start by writing the longer number on top. And the reason you want to do that, let's say you were doing 54 times 2012. Well, it would be kind of silly to write 54 like this times 2012 because you'd have to do 2 times 4 and 2 times 5 and get your answer, then drop down a 0, then multiply again and then drop down 2 zeros, and multiply again and drop down 3 zeros, and then add it all up. And that's a lot of work you'd have to do. Instead, write the longer number on top. If you put 2012 on top, then you only have 2 rows of multiplication to do, and that means less work. So usually the longer number is the larger number, but when you're working with decimals, the longer number isn't necessarily the larger number. If I put a decimal point between the 5 and the 4 and a decimal point between the 2 and the 0, you can see 2.0 is smaller than 5.4. So the longer number is actually smaller. So it doesn't matter if it's smaller or larger. You want to put the longer number on top when you multiply. All right, so then you're going to multiply and you're going to count those negatives like we just talked about. And you also need to count the decimal places. However many decimal places you have in your problem, that's how many you're going to have in your answer. And then we do not need to line up the decimals. In fact, if that's something you struggle with, you don't have to write the decimals at all. And I'll show you an example of that here in a second. All right, so negative 4.26 times negative 7.8. We can do this by by multiplying, putting the larger number on top. 4.26 is the longer number, and then putting 7.8 below it. But notice how I did not line up the decimal points. In fact, like I mentioned, you don't have to write the decimal points at all. You can take them out. Whoops, need to cover that back up. You can take them out, and then it will not change the answer whatsoever. It's just like we're going to multiply 426 times 78. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 more is 20. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 2 more is 34. Oops. 34. And then we're going to drop down a 0. Scratch out those numbers. 7 times 6 is 42. Carry the 4 over again. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 4 more is 18. Carry the 1. And 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 more is 29. And then we're going to add those together. And 8 plus 0 is 8. 2, 12. Carry the 1, 13, and 3. So whether I had the decimals there or not does not actually change the fact that I'm going to get a 3, a 3, a 2, and a 2, and an 8. What I need to do now is I need to do two things. I need to count how many negatives I have, and I have 2 of them, so my answer is going to be positive. And then I also need to count my decimal places, and we have 1, 2, 3 of them. So starting at the right side, I need to count over 3 spots and make sure I've got 3 decimal places. Positive 33.228. On example B here, again, if you don't want to line up the decimal, or if you don't want to even write the decimal points, that's fine. We've got 25 and 36, and both of them are the same length, right? There's not really a longer number. They both are 2 digits. So we're going to multiply. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Drop down a 0. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. And 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. We're going to add those up to get 900. Now, it wasn't 25 times 36, though. It was really 2.5 and 3.6. So you can count, we had 2 decimal places in our problem. So we're going to have 2 decimal places in our answer, which means these are no longer important zeros. And then I had 1 negative sign. So my answer is going to be negative 9, for example B. In example C, the longer number is 2.15 because we don't need to write that 0 there, so we're just going to put 0.39. Again, I'm going to put the decimals back in the problem, but I'm not forcing them to line up. Sometimes they line themselves up, and that's okay, but do not force them to line up. Do not add any extra zeros when you're multiplying. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 1 plus 3 or 4 is 13. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Drop down a 0. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1 plus 1 more is 4. And 3 times 2 is 6. And we're going to add those up to get 5, 8, 13, 8. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places in our problem. So we need to have 4 decimal places in our answer. We also only had 1 negative sign. So our answer is going to be negative 0.8385. Or you could slip a 0 in here and call it negative 0.8385, and that's still the same answer. In example D, this one's actually pretty easy. I only see a 5 and a 5. The other numbers are just zeros. So 5 times 5 is 25. And then we have 1, 2, and 3 decimal places. And we only have 2 digits. So what you do, again, you start at that right side and you count over 1, 2, and then you get to the third one and you have to put a blank there, right? Because you need 3 decimal spots. So you put the decimal point down, and then to fill that blank in, you just put a 0. So the 0 needs to go not after the 5, but it needs to go right here in front of the 2. It needs to be an important 0. We just talked about how these zeros up here were not important. So it needs to be an important 0. So put it right there in front of the 2, and then we have 2 negatives, so our answer is positive 0.025 or 25 thousandths. All right, in the next problem, we've got 3.261 as our longer number. We're going to put it on top, and we're going to write 7 down here on the bottom. You'll notice that one of the numbers is negative, so we know the answer is negative. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 14 plus 4 is 18. 21 plus 3 is 22. And we have 3 decimal places, 1, 2, and 3 in our problem. So I need to count over and make sure I put 3 decimal places in my answer. We also had 1 negative number, so negative 22.827. In example F, we have a 6, we have a 3 or 8, and we have a 3. The rest of the numbers are just zeros. So I'm going to do 6 times 8, which I know is 48, and then times 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 12 plus 2 is 14, so we get 144. But I need to go back and check 2 things. Count my negatives. I've got 2 of them, so my answer is positive. And count my decimal places. 1, 2, 3. So positive 0.144. In example G, you can see a couple things here. First of all, we're raising it to the 3rd power, and the negative is included in the parentheses. So this would be the same as negative 0.4 times negative 0.4 times negative 0.4. Now you can rewrite it out, but you knew that the negative was going to show up 3 times, and 3 negatives makes our answer negative. Also, if there's 1 decimal place and then I'm going to multiply it by another 0.4 and another 0.4, you can tell that that's going to make actually 3 decimal places. And then 4 times 4 is 16, and then times 16 by another 4, and you get 64. But I needed 3 decimal places, so this is going to be negative 0.064. And then in example H, I'll just start on the left side here. We're taking 7.2 and we're timesing it by 1, which means it's going to be 7.2, except that this has an extra decimal place. Timesing by 1 does not change the numbers at all, but because now I have 2 decimal places, instead of 7.2, I'm going to call it 0.72, and it's negative because there's one negative sign. And then I'm going to times that by 100. Now, when you times a number by 100, you're not really adding zeros, even though that's probably what you were taught earlier. What you're doing is you're sliding the decimal point over. So if I do 5 times 100, I can add 2 zeros, but what I'm really doing is I'm sliding the decimal point over twice, 1 for each 0, and then I'm filling in the gaps. So I'm still just going to multiply by 100 and slide the decimal point over, but I don't have any gaps, so I don't have to add any extra zeros. This is just going to be negative 72. So timesing by 100 means slide the decimal over twice to the right. Of course, if you're dividing by 100, you'd slide the decimal left to the right, or left 2 spots instead of to the right. All right, so dividing decimals. Dividing decimals is not so much fun. It's not as easy as multiplying. When you're dividing decimals, you want to set up as long division, and you're going to put the first number in the box. Remember, we were doing top divided by bottom to turn fractions to decimals. Well, there's probably not going to be a top number. It's just going to be the first number that you put inside the house. So first number divided by the last number. So the first number is the one that goes inside the division box. Oops. And the second number is the one that's going to go on the outside. Then you're going to look at that second number. You're going to look at the one that's on the outside, and you're going to ask yourself, do I need to move the decimal point? We don't want that outside number to have any decimal points. So if it does, you're going to slide it over as many times as it takes to get to the end, which hopefully is not 4 times. That'd be a really big number. And then you're going to move the inside decimal point the same number of times, and then you're just going to divide like normal and count the negatives. So in this first example, we're going to put 12.56 inside the division box because it is the first number. The second number is just 0.8. Also, you notice it's negative. When one number is negative, means our answer is going to be negative. Now, we do not want the outside number to have a decimal point, so we're going to slide it over to the end, and we're going to match it. We're going to slide this one over 1 spot as well and float it up to the top. Now, instead of doing 12.56 divided by 0.8, we're doing 125.6 divided by a regular 8. And 8 goes into 12 once. 8 goes into 45 5 times. And 8 goes into 56 7 times. So our answer is negative 15.7. In example B, the first number is 8.722. Goes inside the box. The outside number is 3.56. They're both negative, so my answer is going to be positive. This one has 2 decimal places. We're going to slide it over to the end. We're also going to slide this one over, not to the end, but the same number of times. So 2 times, and we're going to float that decimal point up. And then 356, think of it as 300. Think of it as 300 going into 800. And that would go in twice. And then you can check to see if that's actually accurate. 356 times 2 is 712. So that actually works out really well for us. So we subtract, and we get 160. We drop down the next number. And again, I'm just going to pretend this is 300 going into 1600. And 300 would go into 1600 5 times. So I check that out. 5 times 6 is 30. 25, 28. 15 plus 2 is 17. And that's too big. And that's because we were estimating. But we're pretty close. We know it's going to be 4, because 5 is just a little too big. So it's going to be 4, but I need to know what 356 times 4 is. Now, don't erase any of your side work ever, because you never know when you're going to need that. So 4 times 6 is 24, 22, 14. So I put 1,424 down, and we're going to subtract. Borrow all the way over here from the 6, make it a 5. This is a 10, and it becomes a 9. 12 minus 4 is 8. 9 minus 2 is 7. 5 minus 4 is 1. Drop an extra 0 down, and that is why we do not erase our side work, because we already know that 356 will go in exactly 5 times. So our answer is positive 2.45. Example C, negative 8 divided by 2.2. The first number is 8, so it's going to go on the inside. The outside number is 2.2, and it's negative. And I need to slide the decimal point over one spot so that outside number is no longer a decimal. And since this one does not have a decimal, I'm going to put 1 right after the 8, and I'm going to slide it over, also 1 time, making it 80. 22 goes into 80 3 times. 22 times 3 is 66. Subtract, you're going to get 14. Drop down a 0, float your decimal point up to the top, don't forget to do that. 22 into 144 is going to go in 6 times, and 22 times 6 is 132. And we subtract and we get 8. We drop down a 0, and we already did 22 going into 80, and we said it went in 3 times, and that was 66. And you can see this is just going to keep repeating. So our answer is going to be negative 3.636363. So we'll just say that it's negative 3.63 repeating. And example D, the first number goes inside the box, the second number goes outside the box. It's going to be negative. Now the outside number here actually does not have a decimal point, so we do not need to mess with the decimal points. We don't need to move it at all. Just float it right up to the top. 15 does not go into 1 or 11, but it will go into 111 7 times. So we need to put a 0 there because it did not go into 11, so we have to put a 0 there after the decimal point. That 0 is important. This one not so much, but this one after the decimal point is. And 15 times 7 is 105, so we subtract and we get 6. And then we drop down a 0, and 15 goes into 64 times, and that is 60. So we're done. So negative 0.074.